Since we're starting to work on some spell stuff, I decided that it's really important to teach you something about working spells. One of the first things that you need to learn, if you don't know it, is called the Witch's Pyramid. Now, there are some traditions that, call it something else, and that's fine, whatever word you want to call it. But these are 4 things that you have to do to truly accomplish any spell. I have a few different types of pyramid things here. This one is actually a instant burner, but it still works as the whole pyramid. You can even light your incense on the top to, as it burns and do something for whatever thing that you're working on, and as it flows, it's working your spell. I also have some towers, that can work. You can choose a stone that actually goes along with whatever you're trying to do. And there are some smaller pyramids here, okay? And of different sizes, different stones, all of them can work. It even works if you have one that's similar to this, but maybe has a bottom on it so that you can put whatever it is inside, especially if it's not flat, though this does have an opening in the bottom. So basically what you want to do in using the pyramids, as well as the Witch's Pyramid that I'm going to teach you about, is you write down whatever your spell is, okay? And then once you've got it, depending on the size of pyramid that you have, fold the paper up, make sure that it's good and flat and stuff like that, and maybe even smaller than, but you don't want it where especially if you're using a stone, that it's going to rock. And then, once you've done your spell work and you have it written down and you've stated your intent, put it underneath it, okay? Or put it under this one. And the purpose here is that the energy is down here, it goes up to the point and out, okay? So now, back to the Witch's Pyramid. I've explained the spell side of it. Alright, so your 4 bases, okay? You've got 4 points to the base of the pyramid. We have 1, which is constructive will. So what this has to do with is you have a purpose. I need a job. Okay? We'll use that for an example. So that is our will. That's our need. Okay? So then and it doesn't matter which direction they go, but I like to go clockwise always for things I wanted to bring to me. So from the constructive will, we go to creative imagination. Now, creative imagination is what we've chosen to do, whether we're burning candles, incense, we've got herbs, we're having a full ritual, whatever it is, that is our creative imagination. What are we going to use to make this happen? All right? And, once again, here, we wrote it down and placed it underneath an actual pyramid to help increase that energy. Now, after that comes number 3, which is faith. You have to believe that your spell work is going to work. If you do all of this stuff and you spend all this time doing this wonderful spell, and then you walk away and you go, I really hope it's going to work. Well, you just shot a bunch of arrows and all of your little magical balloons that you let loose. You have to have faith in your work. You have to have faith in the whether it's, the fairies or the dragons or the gods and goddesses, whoever it is that you're calling on to aid you, you have to have faith that it's going to work. In other words, you have to keep a positive attitude. It is working. Well, it will work. It is working. It has worked. All right? And then you go on about your business. That's another thing about having it underneath a pyramid of sorts, is because that energy just keeps flowing up and out that point. It's kind of like doing your cone of power in a circle. All that energy gets built up and goes out. Okay? So, alright, so we've covered 3 of the base points. 4th one is secrecy. I can't stress this one enough. When you are working a spell for something, keep it to yourself. Before you do it, while you're doing it, and even for a while afterwards. Now, once you've achieved whatever it is, if you want to tell your best friend, man, I worked this money spell, I put it under this pyramid, and guess what? I got that big old raise, or that big bonus, or whatever it is. Okay? But, in the meantime, now, unless you have a high priestess or a priest or some counselor, somebody that is your confidant that you go and talk to that's a little bit different, you know, because they're trying to help you to make sure that you are doing it right or something like that. But otherwise, you go and tell your coworker, man, I worked this money spell and I did da 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 and it's just gonna happen. All right, so let's just say that coworker doesn't believe in all of this. So now what happens is they're gonna go, man, really? You really believe all that garbage? Are you serious? Immediately that negativity and that doubt comes into your head. And now you walk away going, I don't know, man. Was I stupid believing this? You just killed your magic. Keep it to yourself. By the same token, that best friend or person you think is your best friend or coworker, whatever, let's say they're magical and they don't want you to succeed. So now they're going to go do something to undo what you did to try to stop you. Is that black magic on their part? Yeah, it is. But some people don't care. There are those people out there that don't believe in karma and they don't believe in it harm none. And you got to believe in all of that because it's going to happen, okay? So, keep it to yourself. Keep your magical workings to yourself. Now, sometime after you got that big raise, if you want to say, man, I know I earned that raise, I deserve that raise, but the boss was being really kind of slow about getting it done, so I worked a spell, and man, I got it. You know, that's okay. It may still not be the best thing in the world to do, because then that person may go tell that boss, you know what, she worked a spell to get that raise, and then you get fired. So, you know, secrecy is still always the best option, and just walk around and smile, knowing that you're going to get what you ask for. Number one, if you ask for it right, if you have your faith in it, and you keep it to yourself, and you ask, and it harm none. Now, and it harm none may make it take a little bit longer to get it, but you're not going to have to pay some horrible price for getting it. So, just do it the right way, okay? Always do it the right way. Now, the top of the pyramid, okay, we got this nice point up here. This point is accomplishment. Because if you do 1 through 4, as I have posted over here, if you do 1 through 4, it equals accomplishment, which means you get what you're after. You get what you're asking for. Now, once again, don't do this on some black magic spell. John belongs with me, I know he does. Okay, he's over there with her, forget it. You know, use this for the right purposes, okay? But the pyramids do add energy. The witch's pyramid, which is the main part of this conversation, is the best way to actually accomplish your goal. So, let's cover it again. We have our constructive will, our creative imagination, our faith, our secrecy, and then we have accomplishment. Okay? Doesn't really matter. I mean, do those things whether or not you actually have anything to represent a pyramid or not. And if you don't, make one out of construction paper or something if you want that energy. It doesn't have to be something special. You know, use what you got. One of the things I always like to teach people, and that's because the first person I found that really taught me about the path I wanted to follow, taught me, use what you got. Alright, so you don't have a bunch of money, go out and buy something, or you don't have the stuff to make you some fancy pyramid. It doesn't matter. Make it out of what you have. You know, turn anything into it. Like I said, this is a backflow incense burner. It's in the shape of a pyramid. You know, you put the incense on top, you got your point. You can stick a crystal on here to make the point. It doesn't matter. Use your imagination. Focus your will and achieve what you're trying to achieve. Okay? So, if we do all of this, we have good spell work. So before I do more spells, I want y'all to practice and learn these 5 steps. Okay? So work on it, and I'll see what I can do about giving you some other, you know, good spell work. Things that are easy enough for you to do that doesn't require you going out buying 40 candles because this book says you have to, and that is not the case. If you want to, you can. But there's a lot of simpler ways to do the same thing. Just because it's in a book to do it that way, it doesn't mean it's the only way. And it doesn't even mean it's the right way. Okay? The right way is what feels right to you. So remember that. Be careful about what you read in books, find on the internet, and especially social media, because a whole lot of that stuff is going to get you into a lot of trouble. Okay? So, until the next time, if you don't mind, please click the like, subscribe if you haven't. If you have, I appreciate you, and I'll keep bringing you more of this kind of stuff that you're wanting. And leave me some comments. Let me know what types of things that you'd really like to see. What can help you along your path? It doesn't have to be my path. Now, there's certain things I don't know about if there's certain other paths, but what kind of things can I help you with on your path? Because if I don't know it, I probably have contact with somebody that does, and I'll do my best to get you the correct information. So until next time, blessed be.